So the other terms that we will be encountering as we study bridge engineering are the different parts of a bridge. So we can see later on the terms used to indicate the different parts of a bridge. So a bridge, the different parts of a bridge looks something like this, or in actual, uh, the different parts of a bridge can be look like this. So what are the different parts of a bridge? So actually, these figures or these photos or GIF that you are seeing uh, uh, already has the most common part of every bridge. So what are the most common part of a bridge? So the first one, the first part of a bridge that is always present on every bridge is the deck. So this is the deck here, or in this figure, this is the deck, the black one. The part of the bridge where the traffic, the vehicles travel. So that is what we call the deck. And then the part of the bridge that supports the deck is actually what we call girder. If the bridge is a girder type bridge like this one, like what you are seeing here on your in the figure, because there are actually different type of bridges that we will study later on our when we will be addressing our fifth goal for this discussion. So these are the girders. These are the part of the bridge that supports the deck. So the other part of a bridge that actually usually uh, put below the interface of the girder and the pier is what we call the bearing. So these are actually part of the bridge that are put below the interface of the girder and the pier. So usually these are put to properly distribute the loads or the force that is being transferred by the girder to the supporting pier. So the other part of the bridge that where the bearing rests is what we call the pier. So there are actually different types of pier that we will study later on. So the pier is looks something like this or this. So there are actually different types of pier that we will study later on. So the pier is the part of the bridge that supports the bearing together with the girder and the deck. And the other part of the bridge that supports everything, the pier, the bearing, the deck, and the girder, is what we call the footing. So this is the footing. So the footing can be actually shallow footing or deep footing depending on the quality of the soil on the highway bridge site. So these are actually the most common part of a bridge. Although there is actually a general term for these different parts of a bridge. So there is a general term for these different parts of a bridge that we have to familiarize ourselves. So these general terms, we will start studying these general terms on the word superstructure. So what do we mean when we say superstructure? Superstructure is the general term that we use to describe the components, all of the components of a bridge above the supports. So all of the bridge, all of the parts of the bridge, all of the components of a bridge, all of the components of a bridge, starting from the girder above, that is what we call the superstructure, the part of the bridge that is being supported by the supports. So we call them superstructure. parts or components of a bridge above the supports. So there are different basic superstructure components. So just like what I've said before, superstructure is a general term. So the superstructure describes these basic components that I will enumerate here. So the first one is the wearing surface or course. So what is a wearing surface or course? It is that portion of the deck cross-section that resists traffic wear. In some instances, this is a separate layer made of bituminous material, whereas in some other cases, it is an integral part of concrete deck. So where is the wearing surface? This is actually the wearing surface. It is the layer of the road that is put on top of the deck. So this is the deck, and we usually put another layer on top of the deck where the traffic, the vehicles travel. So if you can see this San Monico Bridge on the background, the wearing surface is actually this, where this is actually the roadway that is being traversed by the traffic or the vehicles. So this wearing surface can be integrated on the deck, or sometimes or most of the time they are just put as another layer made up of bituminous material like asphalt. So that is one component of the superstructure, the wearing surface. Another component, another basic component of superstructure is the deck. So in this drawing, you can see the deck here. So this is the deck. So what is a deck? Deck is the physical extension of the roadway across the obstruction to be bridged. It can be a reinforced concrete slab. In an orthotropic deck bridge, the deck is a stiffened steel plate. The main function of the deck is to distribute loads transversely along the bridge cross-section. The deck either rests on or is integrated with the frame or other structural system designed to distribute loads longitudinally along the length of the bridge. So the deck is actually this part of the bridge where the wearing surface is put on top of it. So sometimes the deck is integrated with the supporting girders. If the bridge is a girder type bridge, sometimes it is integrated. It is built integrally with the girder supports. But sometimes uh, it is constructed separately and just put on top of the supporting girders. So this deck is actually the extension of the roadway that is being connected by the bridge. So you can see on the end of the bridge, there is actually a roadway that is being connected by the bridge to the other roadway on the other side. So that part of the bridge that connects the roadway from one side to the other is actually what we call the deck. Another basic component of a superstructure is the primary members, or are the primary members. So the primary members distribute loads longitudinally and are usually designed principally to resist flexure and shear. Beam type primary members such as shown are also called stringers or girders. A small fillet or haunch can be placed between the deck slab and the top flange of the girder to adjust the geometry between the stringer and the finished deck. So on this drawing, you can see the primary members are this. So these primary members, if the bridge is a girder type bridge, we usually call this primary members as stringers. So in actual, primary members or stringers or girders, simply girders, look something like this. So these are the longitudinal component of a bridge, which have a main purpose of resisting flexure and shear. So actually, these are the part of the bridge that supports the deck together with the wearing surface. That is the part of the bridge where the deck is put on top. So as you can see here, sometimes we are putting a small space, which is what we call a haunch between the deck and the top of the girder or the stringer, so that we can easily adjust the geometry between the deck and the girder. Because sometimes, if especially if the bridge is with a curvature shape, sometimes we need to super elevate the the deck itself. So we need to incline the deck, especially if the part of the bridge is in curvature, so that we can easily adjust the geometry between the deck and the girder. We can easily adjust the super elevation. We can easily elevate or incline the deck if we will put a haunch between the deck and the top of the supporting girder or primary member or stringers. So another basic component of a superstructure is the or are the secondary members, which are bracing between primary members designed to resist cross-sectional deformation of the superstructure frame and help distribute part of the vertical load between stringers. They are also used for the stability of the structure during construction. Secondary members composed of horizontal cross frames or lateral bracing at the top or bottom flange of a stringer are used to resist lateral deformation. In curved girder bridges, the diaphragms are considered primary members because they are load-carrying members that help resist torsion caused by vertical loads. So the secondary members are the members that are placed in transverse direction with respect to the longitudinal members, which are the primary members or stringer. So in this drawing, you can see this members here that are put in transverse direction with respect to the longitudinal girder, and these are what we call the secondary member or the diaphragm. Or if you will look on this actual drawing or actual picture, these are the secondary member or diaphragm. So their main purpose is to resist lateral deformation or lateral loads, and they are also used to add additional stability to the whole structure during construction. So that is the secondary members. So those are the basic components of a superstructure: the wearing surface, the deck, the primary member, and the secondary member. So these are the parts of the bridge that is being supported by the substructure. That is, again, another general term used to describe those parts of a bridge that are being used to support the superstructure.